Hi everyone, my name is Courtney Marsh and this is my artifact speech. I just want to thank everyone for attending my speech today, and I want to do a special shout out to Lila, Oliver, and Camila for attending my speech. So for the artifact speech, I chose my grandpa's old glazing hard hat, as he was a glazer his entire life for Madison Heights, and how he shaped who my family is today. And I'm going to show you a little background about him, explain a little bit about his job, and I'm also going to talk about how he has inspired me to become the person I am today in my career. So to start off, he was a glazer, and if you don't know what a glazer is someone that puts glass into major big buildings. A few buildings you may know are he did some work at Ford Field, he did some work at the Tiger Stadium, and if you go into Detroit and you just drive around, you could probably find a whole bunch of buildings that are purely glass that he has completely helped build himself. And I thought that was pretty cool. I just want to show some stickers that are on the hard hat, which are, I find pretty cool. There's a lot of union stickers, and around this time of when he was a younger glazer, the unions were having union strikes and people were trying to fight for a union more. And so I think it's funny that some of the stickers on here represent him being proud to work for a union, and some of them represent the strike against the union, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then he even has his "I voted presidential election 2008" sticker on here, which I thought was kind of funny. But I just want to explain how I see my grandpa's career as a legacy for our family, and how a hard hat might just be a hard hat to some, but for some people it is a life-changing experience. So a little background about my grandpa is he is not my biological grandpa. He was my married-in grandpa, if you per se. My dad's real dad was not a very good man, and my grandma finally remarried, and she had a couple other children with this man, and my grandpa just basically stepped up and became the dad they always deserved and needed. And he did that by getting a union job, which allowed them to be supported financially, and he was also there emotionally, which my dad wasn't used to. And I think that it was very needed for his developmental everything, because he just didn't have a dad his whole life. Another thing that I find really fun and interesting about him is he was a man of kindness, a man that would give the world and the shoes off his feet and the, all that stuff. He was the dad my dad never had, and as my dad was young, about 1920, he found out he was having children with my mom, who was pregnant with twins, and we were living in a very small apartment at the time. So my grandpa ended up giving us a down payment for a house, because he said there's no way to start a family in an apartment and that you guys deserve a house. We got our very first house that way. And then my dad was freaking out because he was working for a roofing company but wasn't making much of an income. And my grandpa decided to give him a job in the union as a glazer, which my dad still does to this day very well. And they ended up working all the way together until my grandpa couldn't work anymore. So they ended up building a special bond that way, and he saved up my family by providing the income and the emotional love and support that I got from him, which I thought was really cool. And my relationship with him was, we were super, super close. I called him my cuddle bunny, because when I was younger, I couldn't say bear for some reason. So I called him my cuddle bunny, and I'd go over to his house and he'd play games with me, and we go up north, and the property we go to most every summer is the property that he owned and built up there, and he was just the best man. And unfortunately, at the beginning of last year, we lost him. He was sick and he had dementia, and unfortunately the last couple years of him I didn't really remember much, because he didn't really remember me, which kind of hurt me a little bit, because dementia is one of those slow moving deaths, unfortunately, and it's really sad to see someone that you loved and admired so much go through something like that. But as I get older, he inspires me every day that, hard work and determination can do anything. I mean, my dad was told he was never going to amount to anything in life, because he didn't fully graduate high school, as he was having a really hard time with his family back then. And my grandpa just took him in under his wing and made him the man that he is today. And my dad's very successful glazer, and he even is a boss at a major glassing company, and he's provided for my family through and through. And so my grandpa's determination and hard work means a lot to me, and I think that you can do anything in life if you put your mind to it, and his legacy will always live on, and I always think of him And the fact that I have something like this just makes me a little happy, because then I have something that reminds me of him. So I just want to thank you for my speech today. I want to thank you guys for listening and learning about someone that really means a lot to me, and how just a hard hat to some can be a legacy for many others. Thank you.